This meeting is called to order. Good evening and welcome to the April 23rd, 2020 virtual meeting of the Southeast Delco Board of School Directors. May we please stand and have a salute to the flag and a moment of silence. April 23rd. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty and justice for all. Amen. Mr. Butler, may I have a roll call, please?
Yes, Madam President. Ms. Abney?
She's there.
She locked up here. Okay, Mr. McBride.
Present.
Ms. Monroe.
Present.
Mrs. Peter Coe.
Present.
Ms. Woodford.
Present.
Ms. Crawley.
Present.
Mr. Fowler.
Present.
Ms. Irons.
Present.
Ms. Harris Johnson.
Present.
Mr. Roundtree.
Present.
Mr. DiOrio.
Present.
Mr. Butler, present.
There are some comments that I would like to make. I'll do that before the meeting is over. Mr. Roundtree, do you have a superintendent's report?
Yes, ma'am, I do. On the agenda, there are 3 items that I'm requesting that the board Okay. Apologize about that. We had some technical difficulties. There are 3 items on the agenda that I'm requesting that the board authorize. That is education item 1, which authorizes the waiver of certain published graduation requirements for students in the class of 2020. Finance item B1, which authorizes the payment of itemized fees for students in the class of 2020 as included in the resolution. And finance item B6, which authorizes the suspension of professional employees due to a continuing and growing budget shortfall. Aside from those agenda items, I'm pleased to report that the administration has been working diligently under my leadership and that of Assistant Superintendent Dr. Ryan to move to transitioning to online learning. This move will occur on May 4th, and it is expected that students and families will come to pick up the technology devices that we have that we are loaning to them starting on the week of April 27th. A schedule has been prepared and will be posted to the website communicating this information. This concludes my report. I would like to not only thank Dr. Ryan, but I would also like to thank all of the administrators who have worked tirelessly to make our transition to online learning, which has not been easy, more smoother. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roundtree. Now for the approvals. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda as submitted?
So moved. Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Although you're on the screen, you can still be a part of the voting if you don't mind. I see a lot of lips that aren't moving. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes from the February 28, 2020 regular board business meeting and the April 9, 2020 special board meeting, which was conducted virtually due to the Corona-19 restrictions?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Are there any questions on the bills?
Yes, I have a couple.
Yes, for now.
My first question is generally about the Power School Group bill. On page 471, there's a Power School Group bill for collectively, it's a total of $22,000, $673. Just kind of curious about what that is. Is that for online learning, or what is that for?
No, the Power School module is for our student information system.
Right.
And in addition to that, we are transitioning over our payroll service and also our human resources services so that we have one service provider for those three departments.
So is that a one-time payment, or is that, I'm just curious. So that-
Now, I will look, I think it's a, not progressive payment, but it's I'm sorry.
A maintenance?
A maintenance, and also because we're still transitioning, it's an installment payment. It's a combination, but what I'll do is to supply that information to the board via update, via email, I'm sorry.
Thank you. My other question on the bills were with page 478, Kelly Services.
Okay, Kelly Services is our substitute services. I will again make copies of the latest invoices just so that the board can see what and how many substitutes are being provided.
Yeah, I was kind of curious about maybe opportunities for savings as we're reviewing that. Maybe we can look at ways that, to see how many are related to those teachers who are out or those who are, positions are being replaced.
Okay.
Because I'm on the HR committee, I can probably answer some of that. So Kelly Service is one of our services that we use for either a employee being out for whatever reason that might be. We use Kelly Service to be the substitute individual, or one of the services that we use.
Okay. The only other comment I had about the bills was related to the overall spend. I didn't realize there were so many charter schools that we were sending money to. But if there's a way that we can, as a board, address bringing our students back home, so to speak, by coming up with a plan that's more strategic and long-term to attract our students back into Southeast Delco, thereby reducing the cost overall for charter schools. And we just could monitor it over time and see if we can move that in that direction.
Madam President,
That's all the questions I had.
I have a question.
Can you repeat what you said?
Well, somebody's muted. Yeah. Ed has a question.
Ed has a question.
Yes, Ed?
Can you hear me?
Where you at?
No.
Speak up louder.
All right, hold on. Let me see my volume. Let's see. How about now? Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Go ahead.
Okay, I had a question about Service Master. Normally, they would be cleaning under school conditions, but now, being as there's no one in the schools, are we like on a summer schedule, and are they adjusting their rates accordingly, or are we still paying normal? Is there any benefit, are they working with us?
Yeah, to answer your question, Ed, they have moved into doing summer cleaning projects. They are currently at Harris and DTS. They are stripping floors and sanitizing. They sanitize the buildings every day wherever someone is in the building. And we are looking into, I have Scott taking count of the attendance of each of the cleaners. And then we'll talk more about should we adjust the bill or what that looks like. But we are taking daily attendance.
Okay. That's all I had.
Are there any other questions on the bill? Do I have a motion to approve the bills for payment in the amount of $5,663,381.71?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Questions on new business items? Are there any questions on education item 1 through 3? Are there any questions on finance 1 through 6?
Madam President, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
On number 5, it says, I think there's going to be a bookkeeper for payroll, $35 an hour. And I was just wondering, why are we hiring somebody else? We have someone that does payroll in the district. So I just wanted to know, why are we having somebody else come on for $35 an hour?
Okay, I can answer that, Ms. Irons.
Thank you.
So what the current situation is that our current payroll person has had challenges because of the COVID-19 situation and has not been able to come into the office on designated days when the rest of the staff is in. And we have deliverables, we have payrolls that have to be run. And this person is just a backup. So that I can ensure that the retirement reports are being submitted to PCERS. So it's just a backup plan if this person does not come into the office.
Thank you so much.
Sure.
Madam Chairman, may I ask a question, please?
Yes.
Madam Chairman, I believe I heard that there's a B6 on the agenda under finance, and I don't have an updated agenda, so I don't have that. May it be possible for Mr. Butler just to read that to me so that I know what that item is, please?
It's quite lengthy, just so you know. Okay, so this is a resolution that has to deal with giving the organization or requesting authority to furlough professional staff because of economic reasons. So
Yes,
reads recommendation of the Superintendent, Personnel, and Finance Committee that the following resolution be approved. Whereas the Southeast Douglas School District Board of Education is approving School Code 1124 and School Code 1125.1 economic layoffs due to the substantial budget shortfall and non-economic alterations in curtailment of programs. Whereas the Board of Education is approving the intent to suspend professional and all temporary professional employees by majority vote by this resolution. Whereas the non-renewal of temporary professional employees are not suspensions within the meaning of section 1124 and 1125.1. Whereas the Board of Education's final budget is to be submitted no later than June 30th, 2020. Whereas the Board of Education is approving the 60 days prior to the adoption of the final budget. Whereas the Board of Education is proposing the suspension to reduce a budget deficit of approximately $1,781,241 prior to the suspensions. Whereas the Board of Education anticipates the total savings for the 2021 budget after these suspensions to be approximately $81,172. Whereas the Board of Education has undertaken other cost-saving measures such as 12 aide position, 8 professional positions, 5 administrative positions, and other savings that will be identified in the proposed budget. Whereas the Board of Education will expend $84,992,424. Excuse me, I'll read that number again. $84,992,000. I'm going to try this one more time. $84,992,424 in 2020-2021 with the suspensions, and will expend $86,854,838 in 2021 without the proposed suspensions. Whereas the Board of Education projects total revenue and other financing sources in 2021 to be $85,073,596, whereas the Board of Education projects 8 professional employees to be suspended, representing 2% of total professional staff. Administrators, and an equal percentage of professional employees suspended will be suspended as follows. First, the Board of Education will apply for a waiver to PDE. Second, the Board of Education will utilize budgeted but unfilled positions allowed. Third, the Board of Education will suspend 5 administrative out of 26 positions, representing 19% of the administrative staff. Whereas the Board of Education has reviewed the impact of the proposed suspensions reviewed the proposed suspensions on students and finds that students will continue to receive full complement of academic programs. No programs have been eliminated. Whereas the collective bargaining agreement between the parties will end June 30th, 2020, and in a period of status quo. Any collective bargaining agreement limiting suspension of professional employees does not apply in a period of status quo. Whereas the Board of Education will suspend an equal percentage of administration if the waiver is denied, as stated herein. Whereas the order of suspension will be pursuant to School Code 1124 and School Code 1125.1, be it therefore resolved that the Board of School Directors hereby authorize the intent to suspend professional employees due to economic reasons and/or alterations and/or curtailment of program. Be it further resolved, the Board of Directors hereby authorizes and directs the superintendent to take appropriate actions, including notifying affected employees of the intent to suspend the appropriate professional employees due to economic reasons and/or alterations and/or curtailment of programs as described above.
Thank you, Mr. Butler. And Madam Chairman, I apologize for taking this time, but obviously it was an important motion. And Mr. Butler, when you have a chance, if you could send me a copy of the amended agenda for my records, I appreciate it.
Oh, absolutely.
Thank you.
Can I add a note about that item, Mr. DeOria?
Oh, certainly, certainly.
Thank you. So again, as Mr. Butler read, as a part of the resolution, this measure is being taken to comply with the timeline that we must follow according to budget if it becomes necessary for us to do this. We continue to work collaboratively with our team here to find savings that will reverse, if not slow down, the deficit situation that we have. So we are hopeful that we will not have to do this, but in the event that we do have to, we want to ensure that we are complying with the requirements of the school code in terms of timeline. And as a note, this action has been proposed here before.
Thank you. Are there any questions on human resources items 1 through 9? Are there any questions on policy items 1 through 5? There are no property items. Do we have any comments that could possibly come in that are
Madam President,
regarding agenda items?
I'm sorry, Madam President, I would just ask under Human Resources if we could acknowledge the person that died in service, Cheska, if we could read her name and it's under Human Resources and just acknowledge her service. And do we not have it? I'm sorry.
We're looking it up now.
I got it. I got it. You want me to read it?
Yes, please.
Okay. Acknowledge the in-service death of Miss Cheska Kinlaw on March 6, 2020. Miss Kinlaw served the district as a bus aide for 4 years. And I just wanted to, may she rest in peace. And we thank her for all her service to the Southeast Delco School District. Thank you.
Could we have a moment of silence for the individual at this time also? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Roundtree.
Thank you. I would also like to read into the record education item 1A, if that is okay.
Yes, thank you.
This item reads as follows. Approve the waiver of certain published graduation requirements for students scheduled to graduate as a part of the class of 2020, which shall allow, at the discretion of the acting superintendent, those students who, in his opinion, may have likely satisfied the published graduation requirements through course completion and/or the demonstration of academic proficiency and would have been conferred a high school diploma in June 2020 had it not been for one or more of the following reasons. A, the order by Pennsylvania Governor Tom Wolf closing schools for the 2019-2020 academic year effective March 13, 2020. B, student illness. C, illness in the family. Or D, related novel coronavirus COVID-19 issues. The purpose of this resolution, again, as stated previously, is to provide certain flexibilities for our graduating seniors who may be short of meeting the published graduation requirements based on the coronavirus situation. This action is consistent with guidance and flexibilities allowed by the Pennsylvania Department of Education And so I'm requesting that the board authorize me to work with the high school administration to provide for graduation of those students who fit into one of these categories.
Thank you, Mr. Roundtree.
Mr. Roundtree, can you speak up, please?
Who was that speaking?
Who was that speaking? Who just spoke?
So I'm admitting Shawishi back into Zoom again.
You to speak up.
She might have to use the chat box for her question. Since we can't, it's broken, Shawishi is broken up.
Miss Abney?
Yeah, I was just asking Mr. Roundtree to speak up while he was speaking. I didn't have a question.
Can you? She's back in.
She's muted.
She muted herself. And she has her camera off.
Then the question that
She needs to, someone needs to ask her to unveil her video.
But if you go out, anything that's typed into the
You can
chat
see.
box won't be able to be.
I can hear you all now. I couldn't hear you before.
Okay.
I didn't have a question.
Okay. Thank you. Could I read one additional resolution when you get to the finance part, if that's okay?
Yes, sir.
So,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
New business. Do I have a motion to approve? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Are there any comments? Oh, we don't have any? Okay, none. New business, voting. Do I have a motion to approve education 1 through 3?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor? All opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve finance?
Can I speak on
Yes.
item B1, please?
Yes, sir, you can.
Thank you. So item B1 reads, approve payment of itemized fees noted below for the dues of students in the graduating class of 2020 in an amount not to exceed $11,200. More specifically, we are proposing this item to offset the cost of senior dues and recognizing the challenges that this senior class has faced with this situation. We decided that we would look at our resources and attempt to do something nice for students and families, because this has been challenging not only for us, but it's been challenging for them. And so, as it is our hope that when our graduates leave us, they come back to us and they are contributing members of our community and district, we wanted to send them away with this farewell item. So everything that students would typically pay for in senior dues, with the exception of the physical copy of their diploma and the yearbook, covered by this resolution. So specifically, the cap gown and tassel, as well as the diploma cover, the cost of those items will be covered for each student who is graduating by the district. All students would have to pay is $5 for their diploma. If they elect to purchase a yearbook, there's a fee for that also, and they would be responsible for that fee too. Are there any questions about that?
Thank you, Mr. Roundtree. Do I have a motion to approve finance items 1 through 6?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve human resource items 1 through 9?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Do I have a motion to approve policy items 1 through 5?
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. There are no property items. Now we're going to have our committee reports. County committee reports are Ms. Woodfolk. You have a report from Delaware County Community College.
Yes, Madam President, thank you. As we all know that Delaware County Community College is closed, but for our new students who are interested in applying, I have a number for you to contact Delaware County Community College. The number is 610-723-2000. Again, 610-723-2000. And they will assist you in registration, testing, and financial aid. Also, you could go into their website. The website address is www.dccc.edu. Again, it's www.dccc.edu. Thank you, Madam President. That's it.
Thank you, Ms. Woodfolk. Ms. Monroe, do you have a Delaware Intermediate Unit report?
Not at this time, Madam President.
Thank you, Ms. Monroe. Ms. Irons, do you have a report from the Parent-Student Advisory Committee?
Yes, Madam President, just that we most likely will reconvene in August.
Mrs. Irons, Mr. Roundtree has a question for you.
Yes, I can hear him.
There was another piece that you needed to mention for your
Yeah.
report.
I'm sorry, yes. Dr. Ryan so graciously reminded me because I did forget. If we, instead of August, we will have something in July for the summer school parents from the Parent-Student Advisory Committee if we have summer school. So I did want to say that. Thank you, Mr. Roundtree. Thank you, Dr. Ryan.
Thank you.
Mr. Diorio, do you have a solicitor's report for us?
Nothing this evening, madam.
Not even doing coronavirus, you don't have?
No, I'm all talked out.
I'm gonna bring you in the office.
Uh-oh. I'll work on an improvement.
Mr. Roundtree, is there any administrative updates?
The administrative updates were included in your packet. It is simply just a small brief report from each school in the district. I would, however, like to acknowledge one of our staff members from the Knight Academy, which is our alternative school program. I'm going to try my hardest not to butcher the person's name because we met with the teachers union today. We talked about this wonderful person and what they did. I hope that I got it right. The person's name is Mrs. Gilgino. I think I got it right. Gilgino. I think I got it right.
Giangulio.
Okay, thank you. Thank
You're
you.
so welcome.
Even the representatives practice, we couldn't get it, but thank you. So what this wonderful employee did should be a model for others. She created a Donors Choose option where she sought $1,000, and with that $1,000, she went and purchased items for students of hers who she knew had a need for them, and she personally delivered them to those students' homes. So we want to thank her for her service to her students, and we hope that other educators who are working hard already will do things like this. Thank you.
That's very nice. It's nice to see we do have educators and people in our district, employees, regardless to what their position is, that they would reach out on their own and try to do something for their students. And that's really nice. Announcing the board meeting, the future board meetings. The committee of the whole meeting will be Thursday, May 21st, 2020 at 6 p.m. Board business meeting is Thursday, May 28th, 2020, 7 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carried. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.